Hey guys, so welcome back. So this is I'm gonna do another video showing you guys just a few more examples on how we can convert quadratic equations from standard form into factored form. And so let me go ahead and get a pencil. Okay, so I have a few more examples. So let me work some out with you guys, okay? And please remember, let's just go back. We're trying to convert uh, quadratic equations from standard form onto factored form. Okay, so we're trying to go from standard form onto factored form. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another example. So number one. So I have x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 1. Sorry, plus 1 is equal to 0. Sorry. So it's really just, I guess I could, normally, let's not confuse people. Let's go ahead. I think I did that mistake in the other video. Let's go ahead and just call it a equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so if I'm going to go ahead and do this, remember guys, my first thing is set up my four parentheses. Okay, so again, x times x will give me, let's see, x times x will give me x squared. Okay, and then, okay, what two numbers here and here will give me 1. So I know that the two numbers that will give me 1 will be just 1 times 1, because 1 times 1 will give me 1. Okay, so now the next thing that I have to do is, okay, well, positive times a positive is positive 1. There's no chance of it being negative, so I just go ahead and keep it like that. So if I were to go ahead and do that, I know they're both going to be positive. Okay, and remember, I showed you a little way to check it, called the sort of like the rainbow thing, because you have sort of like two clouds and you have an upside rainbow, right? So if you do 1 times x, it'll give you 1x, right? X times 1, it'll give you 1x, right? And remember, 1 times x is the same thing as x, right? If you go ahead and you add them up, right, you combine the line terms there, you get 2x, right? Which coincides to your middle term. So that is actually your factored form. So you're going to go ahead and let me rewrite it in green. So your factored form will be x plus 1 times x plus 1. Okay, so this is your factored form. Now, if you really wanted to check them, right? I won't even get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. Not yet. So that's how you do this one. Okay. So this is your answer. Let's go ahead and do now. Let's go ahead and do number 2. Number 2. Let's go ahead and do solve each quadratic equation by factoring. So let's see. Let's do y is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go ahead and do double. Alright, so I'm gonna, first thing guys, I'm gonna set up my parentheses and I'm gonna say, okay, x times x, right? Add up two little exponents that give you x squared, right? So that, and then I'll do the other one and sort of like pink. And then you have to think about two numbers, right, that when you multiply them together will give you, right, they have to give you this one right here. Okay, so what two numbers give you 9? So just the easiest one to me, honestly, is just 3 times 3, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my little rainbow check. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead, and if I'm going to make them positive, okay, again, right now I don't know if it's just positive 3 on both or just either one negative, or I don't know that yet, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my rainbow. So I'm going to say, okay, well, 3 times x gives me 3x. Okay, all right, right here, all right, 3 times this 3 right here times the x over here will give me 3x. Okay, and then if I go ahead and I add them up, right, it gives me 3x plus 3x should give me 6x. But 6x, you notice that it's not actually my middle term right here, right? So that didn't work. Okay, so that means that I'm going to have to go back and start again. Okay, so it's kind of like you just kind of get better at it and you see what two numbers multiply together to give you that. So I'm going to do x times x. Okay, well, I know it's 3 times 3. I know for sure it's got to be 3 times 3 because 3 times 3 gives me, right, gives me 9. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do, okay, well, let me try 2 negative 3, right? Let's see, 2 negative 3s here. So if I go ahead and I do that and I do my little checking thing again, my little rainbow thing, watch this. Negative 3 times x will give me negative 3x, okay? And then x times a negative 3 will give me negative 3x. Ah, watch this. When you combine like terms, remember when you're combining like terms, right? You're basically just combining like terms, so it's going to give you negative 6x. Okay, and for some of you guys that are still kind of iffy on your and combining with your like terms, it's kind of like you have negative 3, right? And you go even more negative 1, 2, 3 times, so you land at negative 6. Okay. So this is like your real number line right here. And again, you have negative 3x, right? And you go all the way to, you go 3 to the left side, okay? So because, let me go ahead and, let me use my highlighter here for the first time. Because, come on, highlight it. Because, why is this not working? Come on. Guess I'll use this one. I don't know what's not working. Because this negative 6x gives me the negative 6x in the middle term, this works. So these numbers work. Okay, so therefore my factored form will be x minus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, and so that's kind of how it works. And later on, I'll show you how to actually solve for that. Okay, in another video. But essentially, this is factored form. So again, guys, the factored form of see, we do it in like red. So this is standard form. So this is standard form, and I turned it into factored form. Okay, by the process called factoring. Okay, so let's go ahead and give you another example here. So that's example number 2. I'm going to give you example number 3. Okay. Let's see. We're in 9 minutes right now. So let me go ahead and do. Let me go ahead and give you another example that I haven't done here. So let me give you, for instance, one of these would be your homework problem. So let me give you something like x squared plus 4x minus 12, right, equals 2y. So, let's see, let me give you, excuse me, let me go ahead and give you something like this. And okay, we put our two parentheses here. So then we have to do, okay guys, so let me do it how I did it or how I'm used to doing it in my class. So x times x, right? X times x will give me, right, x squared. Okay, that works. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you two. I will have to think of two numbers, right, where when you multiply them together, they give you negative 12. So just off my head, I'm thinking 4 and 3 right away. Okay, so would that probably work? And I guess later you start kind of seeing the numbers here into what they're actually going to add up to, right? So I like 4 and 3, but I probably like, let's see, 4 and 3. Is there anything else? Let's just try 4 and 3. What the heck? Right? So we have 4x, right? 4 times 3 gives you, oh, one of these has to be negative. So I guess I could just make this one negative. Who cares? You can make that one negative and then change it. Really doesn't matter. So I guess, let's see. For this one, so guys, for this one, I'm thinking 4 and 3, but let's give it a shot. So if I do probably like 4 and then negative 3, oh, come on, it's not working. Working out? There we go. Okay, so if I do 4 times x and that'll give us 4x, x times negative 3 will give me negative 3. If I go ahead, negative 3x, and if I do 4x minus 3x, that'll give me 1x. But notice, again, that this doesn't really add up to the middle term. Okay, so and if you go ahead and you make this a negative 3 and this a 4, you're going to notice that this gives you 3x, right? Well, if I make this negative 3x, and then 4 times this x gives you 4x, so 4x take away negative 3x gives you 1x again. Okay, so this, I'll put it in black and white, doesn't work. So 3 and 4 didn't really work for this problem. So we're going to have to go ahead and we're going to go back to the drawing board, think of another two numbers that when you multiply them together, they give you 12. And if I'm thinking right off my head, also 6 and 2 work, right? 6 times, if I do 6 times 2, it's 12. So let's make one of them negative. So I'll just make this one negative for right now. All right. If I go ahead and I do this, so let me do it with pink, and I go ahead and I do, this gives you 6x, right? And then negative 2 times x gives you negative 2x, right? So combine the line terms there, guys, right? 6x take away 4x, that'll give you 6x take away 2x gives you 4x, right? Come on, 4x, right? So, right, 4x is that middle term right there, right? So because 4x is that middle term, this works, okay? So because of that, then I made my equation that was in standard form. So my standard form was y equals x squared plus 4x minus 12, and this is standard form, and I turned it into factored form. Okay, so my factored form was x plus 6 times x minus 2. Okay, and this is this is what I'm looking for right now. Okay, and later on, I'm going to post another video later where I actually show you what these actually mean. Because if you set this equal to 0, guys, okay, and this is just extra, you don't have to know it for this homework assignment. But if you set this equal to 0, then you can set x plus 6 equal to 0, and you can set 0x minus 2, and this basically tells you, right? What is this telling you, right? Why is this useful, this whole factoring thing? Because this will give you you subtract 6 on both sides, right? Negative 6 is equal